Hey everybody, this is Dr. Marianne Pinkston. Welcome to The Better Life with Dr. Pinkston. I am an integrative and family practice medical doctor who is bringing you information on things that can better your life, and today is no exception. We are going to talk about pain. Pain is something that is very important to my life. As you all know, I have rheumatoid arthritis and lots of muscular problems, but the pain that most people suffer from, neck and back pain, postural pain. We are here with Patrick Mummy today, who is going to talk about his fantastic technology. He owns Symmetry for Health, is the CEO and founder, and has an amazing story, which I'm going to actually let you tell. Patrick, welcome in. I am so honored to have you aboard.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's just such a great honor to be part of your show.
Thank you. I'm truly honored to have you. So tell me a little bit about your background and your business and what we're going to talk about today.
Well, it's a long story. I'll take it as briefly as I can. But I was, long story short, was awarded a baseball scholarship to San Diego State way back in the day. And my major or declaration when I got there was athletic training. And my senior year of baseball, I was chronically injured while I was being educated in the athletic training world. And I found a lot of ironies with that because no one could fix me.
Right.
And so I became basically a victim of the system, as I call it. And when I graduated, I was left with a actually, I was in a year depression, if you want to know the truth. I really did. Once I finished baseball, I didn't get drafted. I was supposed to get drafted. I still had a really good season despite all my injuries my senior year, but I was left at a crossroads. And, I'm sure your audience understands that. I live chapters in lives and we get to a place where we have to make decisions. And this was a huge one for me because I thought I always wanted to be a physical therapist because that was kind of the path back then. And instead of going that route, because it just didn't help me with my chronic injuries. It was just about patchwork. If my hamstring went, then I got my hamstring treated. If it was my foot, it was my foot. And if it was my back, it was my back. And, I got injected, I got treated, I got taped up and then sent back on the field again. And, I just grinned and bared it, as they say. But I knew that I wanted to stay in healthcare. And I ran into a classmate of mine who I graduated with a year later after I graduated, and she was working at this clinic in San Diego that did this corrective exercise. I was like, what is corrective exercise? Never heard of it before. And went, interviewed, got hired, and it was all about looking at your posture and dealing with pain, not at the source or not at the pain site itself, but at the source, the reason behind it, right?
Right.
And more importantly, from that perspective, it was about making me responsible for my own health, meaning that they would analyze me, kind of explain my misalignments, around gravity. And then they would give me a series of stretches that I would have to go home and do every day. And I thought, wow, this is what medicine's supposed to be like, right? It's not about me relying on the practitioner to fix me. It should be going to the practitioner to educate me and show me how to treat myself. And so it was phenomenal. I worked there for 2 years. Again, this was in San Diego. But the missing link was there was not a lot of data. There was no objective way of explaining to me why I was doing what I was doing, right? Even though I was feeling better, when I became a practitioner, we'd get a lot of harder cases in there, people in a lot of pain. And after session 5, if they weren't feeling any better, I had no way of telling them that they were in the right place, right? So that's kind of the message that I have when I do my speeches or anything else is that, we're so used to reactive medicine. We're so used to, through insurance, expecting our doctors to fix us. And it shortens the responsibility, it shortens the expectation, and it shortens the value of what we should be doing on our own as a customer, right? As soon as you get that labeled patient, I think we get lost in the system because now we expect you to fix me. So as a consumer, I want to know what I can do for myself to fix me. And so ultimately, I started Symmetry in 1997, and it was about 10 years later, I ended up getting my first patent on a design on a tool that measures posture. And now, as of a month ago, I now have a patent new patent pending on this brand new technology that you alluded to, which is really what I feel is the stopgap to really get people to be proactive. Because if they don't know what to do when they go home and how to change habits and how to be responsible for themselves and how to communicate with their professionals, with their healthcare practitioners, that they're never going to reach their goals, right? In preventative medicine, I wish we could spend that money on preventative medicine because it would make a world of change. And that is my mission, right? To sum it all up is we have got to get people to understand that they have to change their daily habits in order to reach their goals. Otherwise, they're just going to be running in quicksand.
You are absolutely correct. And that's what caught me when I was listening to your speech that I heard you give up in Dallas. I thought, oh my gosh, this guy has got it. With make 2 quick points about things you said. But going to physical therapy, I believe very much in physical therapy. And I even married a physical therapist at one point and, feel very strongly, but I agree with you so much in that we focus on the point of pain, not on the point of where it comes from. And that has been a long kind of something that I've been, trying to involve physical therapy or physical therapists with to try to understand, can we work on the upper back because that affects the lower back, that affects the foot hurting. It's, it's a whole alignment issue, but also too, just an empathy and sympathy for you. And sometimes our diseases and our illnesses and injuries and things that happen to us are the very reason why we are pointed in a certain direction. The same thing for me. I didn't really become a great doctor until I, was injured or, became ill and then began to understand where people are coming from. So, what you've experienced and what you did experience and being turned away from baseball took you into a whole world where you were really going to make differences for people. So discuss your technology and what it offers.
Yeah, I think we just had our 26th year of being in business in September. And man, time flies.
Congratulations. It's fast.
But yeah, and I always tell people, I said, if you want to start a business, do it when you're young and motivated and naive.
Isn't that the truth?
Because it takes a lot. But, throughout this journey, the first 15 to 20 years of my life, it was all about trying to get people to come in and tell them that I'm going to make them feel better. And I realized that was the wrong message. Mm. The real message that we have now is I'm going to teach you why you have your pain, and we're going to support you in making sure that you understand how you can fix yourself, because the only person that can really fix you is you. And that's where the technology came into play. As soon as we really, the software that I launched that you heard about there, and I think it was in Dallas, that was my 5th iteration over 26 years. And people say, how come I haven't heard of you? I said, by choice. I have purposely stayed under the radar until I knew that I had a system that could go out to the world. And so the technology that we have is called AlignSmart, and it's really designed to educate, right? We all education is everything. If people don't understand what they're doing, why they're doing it, then they won't do it. Because that's always the big skepticism from the Western medical model is, people are lazy. They won't go home and change. I've tried. It's like, no, you had the right intention, but you didn't have the system to support it. Right. So this technology not only educates, right? So they go home, they have their report. We come up with a report from a scale of 0 to 81 points. 81 points means that your body as a building is completely messed up and needs to be remodeled. 0 means you have perfect alignment. Theoretically, you shouldn't have any issues, right? It's all about gravity, engineering, physics. But when they go home, they have to have the videos to their exercises to know how to do them. They need to understand why they're doing the exercises in the order that they're doing them. They need to understand what's fixing each exercise, what it's fixing, why it's fixing it. And then more importantly, what the technology provides is communication. There's a messaging system that we have where people can go home, because what I tell people is when I teach you what to do here, this is your treatment. So now you're taking your treatment and you're going home and you're doing your own treatment, which means you're becoming your own therapist, which means that you need to communicate with us if something goes wrong. If you have a bad reaction to an exercise or whatever else, we need to know about it so that we can mitigate it before you come back in to see me. right? And so it really empowers people, because without that messaging and that communication and having that rapport with their practitioner, most people would just drop off because they'll feel lost, which is what happens with most programs.
Absolutely.
And then the last thing that we did with this technology is we put a little check mark in there. So every time they finish their routine, which is their sequence of exercises, they have to click their check mark, which logs it in. And now we can hold them compliant, because every time they log in on their app, every day, there's a big circle with their compliance number right in front of their face.
Gotcha.
That shows, okay, yeah, you're doing great, or no, you're not doing great. And I tell people, I said, if you come into me after month 1 or 2 and you're still in pain, and I click on your performance button and it says 50% compliance, don't complain to me.
Yeah.
I'm telling you what you need to do. And if you're not willing to follow what needs to be done, then don't complain to me, because you are the one that isn't doing what needs to be done in order to reach your goals. So buckle up, because it's your ride, and I'm just going to partner with you on this journey. And that's what this technology does. It really empowers people and holds them accountable through education and support.
Wonderful. So what kind of, I would say, injuries, illnesses, what do you treat?
Yeah, you name it.
Good. That's right.
Yeah, you name it. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter to me. I mean, in a brief explanation, your first year of life develops the blueprint of your human body, which means that it takes 12 months for you to be able to stand and activate all 12 systems of your body, right. Not just musculoskeletal, but your digestive, your cardiovascular, vestibular, all these systems work around your body's frame up against the force of gravity. So if you're crunched over time because of compensation, you're not going to be able to breathe correctly. You're not going to be able to digest correctly, and your systems become compromised. And so what ends up happening is your brain starts to focus on, well, what's the most important thing I need to focus on? And then everything else gets neglected, right? The analogy that I use is when you're cold, when you start to shiver, it's because your brain says, well, it's cold. I need to push all your blood towards your vital organs, which leaves your extremities vulnerable. So until you put a coat on, I'm protecting you, right? So this is kind of the message that I talk about, is that life causes all these compensations because of too much sitting and repetitive stress and injuries and accidents. And you don't know you're in trouble until your body starts telling you. But when your body starts telling you through pain, it's been happening for a long time. You just didn't know it yet, because your body does a really good job of compensating until it can't, right? So that's why treating the symptom doesn't work, because it's like putting duct tape on a broken dam. It just doesn't fix it.
Absolutely. I have a trainer here in town that I work with, Sonia, who is training a 90-year-old man who's been with her for almost 20 years. And he is now starting to become incredibly debilitated. And we were discussing this yesterday, how he is not able to stand up straight any longer. Now his back hurts, his knee hurts, his foot turns, and he's falling more and more often. And those falls are going to ultimately, I think, be the end of him, because thin bones or things like that. So this is something that she has tried to work with him on to get his posture straight and aligned. If physical therapy, though, that comes in and sees him, just concentrates on muscle spasms, if they do anything, honestly, concentrate on the muscle spasm of the low back, or the fact that his knee hurts, or whatever is there, instead of the whole picture. And knowing that he would fall. So this is all stages of life. I mean, this is somebody who, like you say, firstborn starting to learn, all the way up to somebody who's at the end of their life, just avoiding fall risk, avoiding breaking bones, which can lead to a terrible death. Lots of pain. Yeah. So that people really don't realize how much this makes a difference. How can somebody get involved? What do they do in order to get assessed and start your program?
Well, we have our main portal, or main website is symmetry.AlignSmart.com. So Symmetry, most people don't know how to spell symmetry. It's SYMMETRY. And then AlignSmart, AlignSmart, AlignSmart.com. It's a little bit long, but that's where, as a client,
I will have it. Make sure people can find it for you on the website.
But as a client, you can locate a practitioner near you that's been certified, or as a practitioner, that's where you can focus on getting certified, because we're looking at personal trainers, anybody anybody within the healthcare field who wants to get certified and implement symmetry into their practice, that is my mission. If you were to be able to see my wall here on the right, there's a big map of the world. And we have pins on all the practitioners that we've certified. And we're going global. We actually have one in India now, Turks and Caicos. We just signed up a woman from Turks and Caicos, of all places.
Great.
We want prevention. It's never too late to start. First of all, we can always reverse years of dysfunction. But my main message is prevention. If we could get symmetry into all grade school, into the PE classes, which, the whole other seminar about PE and schools not providing it now because of funding,
Thank you.
which is the worst thing you can do.
Absolutely.
But it's all about habits. If we teach kids good habits, then they grow up knowing and being empowered how to keep themselves healthy.
Absolutely.
We wouldn't have half the diagnoses that we have if we just focused on prevention.
Absolutely. And pain is probably one of the number one things that I see in my clinic. I deal a lot with weight or with cardiovascular health, things like that. But pain, that is the number one thing, mostly back and neck pain. And,
Right.
People are always looking for something that is a quick fix, a shot, a pill, something that will, help them get through their days more easily. But understanding and focusing on, where this comes from. And it could be anybody, right? I mean, somebody who's had surgery. I know patients will tell me, I've had back and neck surgery, and they say there's nothing else that can be done. I don't believe that. I think that there's still something from this aspect. Am I correct in trying to get them better?
Yeah, well, what I tell people is that the human body is, as you know, it's amazing. It's an amazing organism, and it has all the tools to be as healthy as possible. You just have to know how to get there.
Absolutely.
Right? It wants to be healthy. Your body wants to be healthy. But you just need the roadmap to understand how to get there. And we do not do a good job of that in our medical model,
You're
right?
correct.
It's all about reactive. Let's give you a pill.
Absolutely.
And I make more money that way.
That's right. Right. And we are going to talk more about this when we get through the break here. We're going to take a short break. I do want to say a word about Pinnacle Research, who has been a sponsor of mine for 2 years. Fatty liver, Patrick, is a huge problem in South Texas and now becoming a global issue. But here in South Texas, pinnacleresearch.com is where people can go and get their free FibroScan, as well as my other sponsor, MagnaWeb. So magnaweb.com. A good, fantastic source for a lot of vitamins, methylfolate, a great little company who I've been working with very closely. And I just want to say real quickly for people who are looking for this technology with Patrick, you can go to drpbetterlife.com and find all of my previous shows and information. We are going to come back and talk more about symmetry with Patrick Mummy.
Fatty liver is linked to two different situations, alcohol and diabetes or obesity. In both cases, patients can have no symptoms. In the United States, and in particular, Texas, the most common cause of liver disease in general is non-alcoholic fatty liver. Again, associated with overweight, obesity, and or diabetes. Additional risk factors include high cholesterol, high blood pressure, Hispanic ethnicity, and postmenopausal status. At Pinnacle Clinical Research, we offer a quick, non-invasive ultrasound-based screening assessment called FibroScan. This test is done at no cost to you, and we do not take insurance. The test will measure the fat and stiffness in your liver and stage your risk and development of fatty liver disease. You will meet with a provider immediately following your scan to go over your results. If you're interested in getting more information on your liver health, please call 210-529-7978 and schedule your FibroScan today. We are conveniently located in the Medical Center at 5109 Medical Drive.
Depression, anxiety, low energy, weakness, these are just some symptoms of low B12 levels. And the absorbable B12 folate supplement that's helping people declare victory over depression symptoms is De Novo Plus B12 by Magna Pharmaceuticals. Patients with symptoms of depression often exhibit low levels of folate and vitamin B12. The human body needs sufficient folate intake to produce the essential neurotransmitters serotonin, dopamine, and norepinephrine. These neurotransmitters alleviate feelings of sadness, anxiety, and gloom. What makes De Novo Plus B12 so successful? De Novo Plus B12 contains readily absorbable folate and B12. That means it's more successful at correcting the root cause of your deficiency, not just the symptoms. Whether you are suffering with low energy, depression, fatigue, or anxiety, you owe it to yourself to learn more at magnaweb.com. That's magnaweb.com. Please let us know at checkout that you heard about De Novo Plus B12 on The Better Life with Dr. Pinkston.
Hey everybody, welcome back. I am Dr. Marianne Pinkston here with Patrick Mummy today from Symmetry and his technology, AlignSmart. We're talking about chronic pain, and something that you mentioned through the break there I think is incredibly important, that many people will consider these types of therapies as last resort when we really should be considering them as first resort. I love that you said that. And so many people do, I think, reserve technology like this for a last resort. But you also mentioned that you can treat things like Parkinson's, MS, probably, balance problems and some autoimmune neurological diseases, strokes, things like that. People really far-reaching that people probably haven't thought of. But why do you think this is considered something last resort?
Well, again, it's about the messaging, right? We've been conditioned as, patients to pay our premium every month. And now you have access to whatever they tell you that you have access to. And what we're finding out, what most people are finding out, because we do market research with our clients too, is that people are being more proactive and searching for things that are outside the box.
Yes.
And eventually those things that are outside the box need to be inside the box, because they're not being told and talked about. I'm getting now referrals from doctors like you, from naturopaths. I'm getting referrals from people I've never even heard of before that have heard from about us from somebody else. And it's, to me, it makes me so happy, because doctors, I think, are starting to think outside the box now as well, because people are just getting sucked in the system and just doing the same old. And there's no different results, which is the definition of insanity, right? People have to understand that it like I said before, your body wants to get better. And if you just understand the reasons behind why you're feeling what you're feeling, whether it's pain or disease or whatever, you have to really search hard behind the scenes and understand the why. And when you figure out the why, you'll also figure out that you have the ability to fix it. Right. You just have to have that roadmap to understand how to get there. And that's why I said with you, this, people, we call this the last resort, because everybody's gone through everything to try to get better. And we're different because we tell people we're going to teach you how to treat yourself. And if you are willing to do the work and communicate, and you understand the logic behind this program, you will get better. I guarantee you that you will get better. You just have to do your part.
Right. And that's true for anything from heart disease to weight loss to, anything. You do have to do your part. And I agree with you that many practitioners do not give the roadmap. I can sit, I've got 10 minutes with people, in the room, and I can say, you need to lose weight and you'll feel better. And they're like, okay, I can do that. They leave and they're like, but how? How do I do that? There's just no general support as to that, but yet that is something you absolutely provide. I think it's wonderful. So tell people how they can find you, where they can find you, and get in touch with your system.
Yeah. So like I said, the main practitioner site is Symmetry, AlignSmart.com. We have from that site, you can go to Symmetry for Health, FOR Health, which is our clinical, patient site, if you want to call it that. But SymmetryAlignSmart.com is the portal where you can find out everything about us. And, like I said, I'm trying to start a health revolution. I'm trying to change the mindset from reactive medicine to preventative medicine. The CDC, like I said in my speech, is 7 out of 10 diseases and deaths can be preventable.
Right.
So why are we not focused on prevention? Well, again, let's talk about money, all of the money. So my mission is to certify as many practitioners out there as possible to help as many people as possible, because it takes a partnership. Like I said to you on break, Symmetry is not a standalone, but it's a tool that you should be implementing into your life along with the other treatments that you're getting. If we can partner with the other therapies that you're doing, then it's awesome. But the big thing is if you can't take your chiropractor home with you every day, what are you doing to help hold that adjustment, right? Otherwise, you're just going to rely on your chiropractor for the rest of your life. So why not focus on understanding how to treat yourself so that you only have to go to the chiropractor once a year for maintenance rather than twice a week or, the rest of your life.
Right. And that is the way the system is built, to try to keep people in their office to, repetitive appointments and treatments and therapies.
a great business model.
Yeah, absolutely it is. It's very smart, right? But it's not helping anybody. And
No.
mean to change that. I'm glad you're out there doing just that. So everybody can find you and all your information. I'm going to have that prominently placed at drpbetterlife.com, again, where you can find all of my previous shows. I've been doing this for almost 2 years now and have plenty back there, but we will highlight Patrick and Symmetry and all of his great information. drpbetterlife.com. And again, I want to thank Pinnacle Research, pinnacleresearch.com, get your free fiber scan, and magnaweb.com for some of your vitamin needs. And then, Patrick, you have a good book, too, I think, that you wrote. I actually read very quickly, but I read through. That's it. Thank you. I should have done that. What's wrong with me this morning?
That's okay. I'm not above self-promotion.
I love that you're doing that. But yeah, so good book. Really describes exactly what we've been discussing here about why this model is breaking down and what you're doing to change that. So I appreciate you very much for all of that. Any final words?
If anybody's interested, so we have a whole online certification program. It also has a hybrid portion of applied training to it. But if you really want to dive into the philosophy of this, we have through that Symmetry AlignSmart.com, you go to the certification button, and the first course is my book. It's the Physics of Pain. And if you register and sign up and put SPH free, all caps, SPH free, you can get that course for free. And it breaks the book down into chapters with quizzes. And it really kind of throws you into my journey and why I created what I created. So that's the great starting place for you.
Excellent. I will have that on the site as well. Thank you so much. It has been such a pleasure to see you again. I really appreciate you. And I hope we can have you on again, talk some specifics. And,
I'm always here. I'd love to.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Everybody have a great week. And Patrick, thank you again.
Thank you so much.